Ever feel like you can't breathe? I mean, you hear Dr. Stephen Covey say, sharpen the saw, but you think, with what time? You don't even know what tools you'd use to sharpen it. And if that's you, you might be living in a prison that you built for yourself. You let life happen to you. Whatever your clients ask, you do. Whenever they need something, you jump. Your own life gets pushed aside because your job is to provide. Your job is to keep clients happy. Your job is to keep moving faster and faster so you can help even more people. But what if that's not the entire truth? See, I spent years buried in client work, behind on deadlines, and feeling constantly torn, working too much while also being distracted when I was actually with my family. Today, though, my parents actually showed up as a surprise, and I didn't panic. I was grateful and I was able to be fully present because now I've built a business that serves me as well as my clients. You see, freedom is not a fluke, it's not luck. It's actually a series of choices, a series of decisions. It's possible to break free from the prison that you created from yourself and to build a business that actually finally gives you your life back. So stick around and I'll show you how to choose freedom by focusing on what really matters. Now, if you're like most high performing service providers, your calendar is full, your inbox is never empty, and your to do list is a mile long. And from the outside, it looks like you're killing it. But on the inside, it feels like you're barely holding it all together. It's easy to assume that the problem is that you just have too much work. But more often than not, the real problem is structure, or rather, the lack of structure. You end up saying yes to everything because deep down you don't trust your systems to catch what might fall. So instead of setting clear expectations, you default to over delivering. Instead of building a margin, you pack your schedule. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your business was built on hustle, not on your health. And it worked until you get to this point where it stopped working. And you tell yourself you can handle it because you're efficient. But what you're really doing is planning for the best case scenario every single time. You assume each project will go smoothly and that no emergencies will pop up and you'll be able to crank out things faster than humanly possible. But life happens as it always does, and you fall behind. And then you blame yourself for not doing more. You blame yourself for not being faster. You blame for yourself for not being better. But that's not really the issue. Also, the issue isn't that you don't care. In fact, it's the opposite, is that you care too much. Plus, your current structure doesn't protect your energy, doesn't protect your priorities, and definitely not your peace. Here's the kicker. You've confused being available with being valuable. You believe being constantly on call makes your clients feel taken care of. But availability isn't the same as dependability. Your clients love you because you care and you deliver. They don't love you because they can reach you at 10 o'clock at night. You don't need to work harder. You need to think harder and create a structure that protects your time, your well being, and your most important relationships. Because without that, no amount of hustle is going to lead you to freedom. You're not broken. It's likely you're just under structured. And once you fix that, everything else can actually start to breathe again. Most people hear the word boundaries and they picture, walls, hard stops, harsh no's, rejection. But boundaries aren't necessarily walls. They're more like fences. And the right fences don't just keep people out and they don't just keep you safe on the inside, but they are also clear markers on where your land ends and the other person's land begins. And when you set boundaries in your business, you're not necessarily pushing clients away. In fact, you're probably helping them trust you more because clear expectations reduce confusion. Clarity builds confidence. When people know what to expect from you, they actually feel more secure, not less. If you had a sprinkler system, but it always sprayed out of your fence into your neighbor's grass during a drought, then his grass is going to be green and flourish, and yours is going to die and be brown. He doesn't need to change anything, and he likely has no idea why his yard's doing so well, because you're putting all of this effort in, but your yard is dead. Your clients expect you to take care of yourself. They want what they want, and they will ask for what they want. It's your responsibility to set boundaries on what you're willing to do and how you're willing to do it. Because here's where it gets tricky. Many freelancers and service providers think setting boundaries means being selfish. They imagine it means turning down work, disappointing people, or just sounding rigid. But that's not really valid because boundaries are actually very strategic. You see, they give you breathing room so you can actually show up with your best work. They create space so you can deliver what you promised without running on fumes. When you respond to every late night email, when you let clients reschedule last minute, when you say yes to something that you really needed to say no to, then you're teaching people how to treat you. And the standard you accept is actually the standard that you set. Your clients won't even know it's an issue. They'll just be happy their grass is green. They won't understand the sacrifices you're making and likely wouldn't want you to be making those sacrifices. But it isn't up to your client to set up your boundaries. It's up to you. Every time that you sacrifice your personal life for someone else's urgency, you tell yourself, well, this is just what it takes to be successful. But real success doesn't come from saying yes to everything. It comes from saying yes to the right things and saying no to the things that actually steal your peace. Boundaries are what turns chaos into calm. Boundaries are not the enemy of great service. In fact, boundaries are what make great service sustainable. And the people you serve will still love you. And they may even love you more because they'll feel your presence, your clarity, and your confidence, not be left over with your burnout. You don't need to be constantly available, but you do need to be consistently reliable. And that consistent reliableness is what boundaries actually protect. That's what freedom is built on. Freedom doesn't magically show up one day when your income hits a certain number. It doesn't appear once you land the perfect client or purchase the perfect tool or even hire the right team. Freedom is something that you build, and it's something that you build intentionally. And it starts with one powerful decision. You have to choose it. Most business owners don't choose freedom. They chase flexibility. And while flexibility sounds like freedom, it's actually something entirely different. Flexibility means you can move things around as needed, make room when life demands it. However, freedom means your business supports your life. And that will only happen by design. So the question becomes, how do you start building for freedom? Well, first, you need a schedule for your life. Don't just schedule for your work. Block off time for your family. Block off time to breathe. Stop treating rest and presence like luxuries and start treating them like assets. Because if you don't intentionally build your business around what matters, it will end up just growing around what's loud. Second, you need to shift how you measure success. Most people track how much they did. But what if you measured alignment instead of output? What if success wasn't about how fast you moved? What if instead success was about how in sync you were with your values? Because scaling chaos does not lead to peace. It just makes the chaos louder. You don't want to scale chaos. You don't want to automate and scale broken systems. If your calendar, your commitments, and your systems are built on urgency and best case planning, well, then scaling is only going to multiply the stress. You don't need more capacity if your foundation is already cracked. You need a stronger structure that actually honors your time and your health and your family. Freedom, it comes when your business becomes a tool instead of a trap. Freedom comes when your business stops being a prison and starts being a place that you can pursue your dreams. But you have to pursue it. You have to choose it. You have to make a decision on if you're going to change the way that you've always done things. And if so, then brick by brick, decision by decision, schedule by schedule, you can build towards that freedom. It takes intention, but building a life of freedom is not only possible, it actually becomes inevitable. Because when your business gives you freedom, you don't just win, your family wins, your health wins, and of course, your clients win too, because you're showing up invigorated, ready to give them the best that you have to offer because you're free to do whatever you want and you have decided to serve them to the best of your ability. So here's the bottom line. You don't have to stay stuck in the cycle. You don't have to keep sacrificing your peace, your health, or your family just to keep your business afloat. You're not lazy. You're not behind. You're simply operating without the structure that freedom requires. But the good news is that you can change that. You can stop reacting and start proactively building. You can set boundaries that protect what actually matters. You can stop chasing flexibility and start choosing freedom. And you can build a business that actually gives you your life back. You can break free from the prison that you created. Now, if this video spoke to you and you're ready to go deeper, I created a playlist called Unlocking Fulfillment. And it's designed to help you build a business that gives you more than it takes. So click the playlist, as I hope it'll help you continue to move toward a life that feels even better on the inside than how good it looks on the outside. So I'll see you in the next video.